Have you ever felt like you're caught in the middle of a spiritual war that you can't see? Like the struggles, the anxieties, and the temptations you face are just echoes of a much larger, ancient conflict? Well, you're not wrong. But what if I told you that the key to winning your battles today is hidden in the very first battle that ever took place? The Bible is clear that there was a war in heaven, a rebellion that introduced darkness into a perfect universe. But the most important question is almost never asked. When all of this was going down, when Lucifer declared war and a third of the angels fell, where was Jesus? The answer will absolutely shock you, and it's the secret to understanding his true power and sovereignty over your life right now. What you're about to discover can completely shatter your fears and anxieties. Before we continue, I've noticed that a huge number of people who watch and are blessed by these videos are not actually subscribed. If you believe in the power of God's word, please take just 1 second to click that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the revelations God is giving us to share. Now, stay with me until the very end, because understanding Jesus' strategic position during this first rebellion is not just history. It is the key that will unlock your victory in the spiritual battles you are facing this very moment. All right, my friend, settle in. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and just try to imagine it. I mean, really try. Picture a reality before time as we know it even had a name, a place so saturated with pure, unfiltered glory that our human language just, well, falls flat trying to describe it. This was eternity past, a realm vibrating with a perfect, unending symphony of love and light, all emanating from a single central point, the divine throne. This wasn't just a seat of power. It was the very epicenter of existence, the source from which all life, all joy, and all truth flowed in an unceasing river. And upon this throne, bathed in unapproachable light, was the Godhead. Can you picture the communion? The Father and the Son, Jesus, existing in such a perfect, seamless unity of purpose and love that they were and are one. It's a concept that can make your head spin, isn't it? But it's crucial. Their shared gaze was the foundation of reality, their every thought a creative force. This perfect harmony was the status quo, the unchallenged sovereignty that governed everything. It wasn't a reign of fear, but a reign of absolute life-giving love, a dynamic dance of divine fellowship that was the envy of all creation. Now into this perfect scene, let's introduce the masterpiece of the angelic host. The Creator had fashioned countless wonders, but this one was something else entirely. His name was Lucifer, the morning star, the guardian cherub. Ezekiel 28 tells us he was adorned with every precious stone imaginable, a walking, flying mosaic of divine artistry. He wasn't just beautiful, he was the embodiment of created perfection. You have to understand, he was positioned right there by the very throne of God, tasked with covering it, protecting its sanctity. He walked among the stones of fire, and his very being was intertwined with music. Pipes and timbrels were built into his frame from the day he was created. Imagine the sheer magnificence. He was the pinnacle of what the Creator could form from light and sound. He was strong, breathtakingly intelligent, and held a position of unimaginable honor. In that perfect peace, before the slightest hint of discord, he was a testament to the goodness and power of the Godhead, a brilliant mirror reflecting the glory of the one who made him. There was no flaw in him, no shadow, no hint of the darkness that was to come. He was, for all intents and purposes, perfect in his ways from the day he was created. But then it happened. Out of nowhere, a sound that had never before been heard in heaven pierced through the eternal symphony, a cosmic thunderclap. It wasn't an external explosion, oh no, this was far more devastating. It was an implosion of the heart, a silent, prideful declaration that cracked the very foundations of celestial peace. Suddenly, the perfect harmony had a dissonant note, a chilling vibration of self-admiration that began to ripple outwards from the most beautiful being God had ever made. This was it, the genesis of rebellion. Think about it. In a universe defined by selfless love and worship directed toward the throne, a single thought arose: I am worthy of that worship. It was a cancer, a seed of darkness planted in the soil of perfection, and it began to grow with terrifying speed. The absolute sovereignty of God, which had never been questioned, now faced its first and most intimate challenge. This wasn't an attack from some foreign enemy. This was a betrayal from within the inner circle, a mutiny from the captain of the guard himself. The shock, the sorrow, the sheer wrongness of it must have been palpable. This is where the scene gets chaotic, where the story really begins to unfold in a way that affects every single one of us, right here, right now. That single prideful thought didn't just stay a thought, it became a campaign. Lucifer, now turning into Satan, began to whisper his poison into the ears of other angels. He was charismatic, powerful, and convincing. And tragically, he convinced a third of the angelic host to join his insane cause, to turn their backs on the source of their own existence. A war erupted in heaven, not a war of flesh and blood, but a war of wills, of worship, of allegiance. Michael and his angels on one side, fighting for the honor of the Creator, and the dragon and his angels on the other, fueled by a delusional ambition to seize the throne. It's a scene of unimaginable cosmic conflict, light against darkness, loyalty against rebellion. And this brings us, my friend, to the heart of our mystery, the question that hangs over this entire celestial drama, a question that, believe it or not, has everything to do with our own hope for redemption. So here's the billion-dollar question, the one we're going to spend our time unpacking together. In the midst of this catastrophic upheaval, this declaration of war against divine sovereignty, where was Jesus? Where was the Son, the Word, the very agent of creation through whom Lucifer and every single angel, loyal or otherwise, had been made? We see the Father on the throne, we hear about Michael leading the armies, but what was the role of the Son of God? Was he just a spectator, watching this tragedy unfold from the sidelines? Was he simply waiting for the dust to settle? The answer, as you're about to see, is so much more profound and powerful than you can possibly imagine. His position during this heavenly rebellion wasn't passive at all. In fact, it was the most strategic, pivotal, and awe-inspiring role in the entire conflict, a role that was already setting the stage for the cross and our ultimate redemption. His seeming silence was, in reality, the calm at the center of the storm, the anchor holding all of reality together. So, to truly grasp what's happening, we have to zoom out and establish a foundational truth, one that changes everything. You see, the Bible kicks off in the Gospel of John by telling us, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made." John 1:1-3. Let's let that sink in. This isn't just a poetic phrase, it's the cosmic constitution. Jesus is the creator, the divine architect through whom every galaxy, every star, and yes, every single angel was spoken into existence. That magnificent creature, Lucifer, in all his jeweled glory, was a direct, personal creation of the Son. Jesus himself crafted the anointed cherub who covers, meticulously designing him to be the pinnacle of angelic beauty, destined for a place of honor right beside the heavenly throne. But here's the part that really tests our understanding of divine sovereignty, and it's the absolute key to this whole story. Jesus, the omniscient creator, formed this breathtaking masterpiece, already knowing the tragic path he would choose. He saw the end from the beginning. Every beautiful facet he designed, he did so with full knowledge of the ugly pride that would corrupt it. The impending rebellion wasn't a surprise, not an unforeseen flaw in the plan. It was a known variable in a divine equation that was infinitely more complex than a simple story of good versus evil. This stunning act of creation, knowing the heartbreak it would cause, hints that the fall itself was permitted to set the stage for a far greater story, a story that would ultimately lead to a profound and unimaginable redemption. It makes you wonder then, what could possibly happen inside such a perfect being to make him turn his back on the very source of his splendor? So, the billion-dollar question remains, how does a perfect being fall? The answer is both subtle and terrifying, my friend. And it's a warning for every single one of us. The rebellion didn't start with a thrown punch. It started with a long, lingering look in the mirror. You see, Lucifer began to contemplate the gift instead of the giver. He became mesmerized by his own brilliance, a reflection of the Creator's power, and he made the fatal mistake of thinking that glory was his own. Pride, that insidious whisper, took root. We see the anatomy of his fall in Isaiah 14, where he makes 5 audacious "I will" statements that form the very constitution of sin. I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the Mount of Assembly. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. This was the seed of rebellion, a corrupt desire to dethrone God and enthrone himself. Now you've got to be asking, okay, but why didn't Jesus just stop him? Why didn't he just snuff out that first spark of pride? And the answer to that reveals the very heart of God. You see, Jesus doesn't create puppets. Love, to be real, requires a choice. Forced devotion isn't devotion at all. It's just automation. In his infinite sovereignty, he gave Lucifer and all of us the freedom to choose to love him or to reject him. So Jesus' observation wasn't passivity, it was a sovereign allowance. He was permitting the hideous, self-destructive nature of sin to reveal itself fully. It was a painful, necessary step in demonstrating to the entire universe the ultimate outcome of turning away from the Creator, a step that would make the future need for redemption painfully clear. That internal pride was now festering, and it was about to spill over into open warfare. And just like that, the seed of pride explodes into open rebellion. This wasn't a quiet disagreement, it was a full-blown civil war in the heavens. Lucifer, now the adversary, managed to deceive and seduce a full third of the angelic host with his poisonous lies about the Creator's character and his own supposed right to rule. So, the battle lines were drawn. The Archangel Michael and his legions were commissioned to defend the honor of God's throne and confront this unprecedented mutiny. Now, get ready, because this is the very heart of the answer to our question. As this epic, universe-altering battle raged, Jesus remained on the throne, right beside the Father. But here's the critical part. He wasn't a detached spectator. He was the active sustainer of all things. Colossians 1:17 tells us that in him all things hold together. Can you grasp the sheer magnitude of that? While swords of light clashed and celestial realms shook, Jesus was simultaneously keeping galaxies spinning in their orbits, holding the atoms of 1 trillion stars together, and maintaining the very fabric of reality itself. His divine energy and focus were so infinitely vast that this cosmic war, while significant, didn't cause so much as a flicker in the rest of creation. And here lies the most devastating irony of all. Lucifer was waging war against the very being who was, in that exact moment, sustaining his own existence. Every ounce of strength the devil used to fight was a gift from the one he was attacking. This wasn't weakness or indifference on Jesus' part. It was the ultimate demonstration of his absolute power and sovereignty, a quiet, unshakable control that laid the groundwork for a much deeper plan of redemption. He wasn't just sustaining creation, though. He was also watching, and what he saw is the key to everything that comes next. Now let's unpack a profound statement Jesus himself made, a little clue he dropped that reveals his entire perspective on this event. Much later, in Luke 10:18, he tells his disciples with a kind of knowing finality, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." Let that image sink in, a brilliant, instantaneous flash of light being cast down. When Jesus says he saw something, it wasn't just a casual glance. For the Creator, to see is to perceive with absolute, total comprehension. He wasn't just watching the drama unfold, he was the primary strategic witness to the birth of sin. Think about it. For justice to be perfect, the judge must have a flawless understanding of the crime. It was a cosmic necessity for him to witness the very moment the first rebellion was conceived and executed against his father's throne. He saw the pride, he understood the motive, and he knew the devastating consequences it would unleash. This act of witnessing wasn't passive, it was a crucial part of his divine mission. It was essential for him to see the genesis of the problem firsthand in order to become the perfect solution for it. That fall from heaven was a powerful foreshadowing, a pre-enactment of Satan's ultimate legal defeat. The expulsion from God's presence was the initial verdict, but the final binding sentence would be handed down at the cross. That lightning-fast fall was just the prelude to the moment when Jesus would disarm the powers and authorities, making a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. His role as witness was the legal prerequisite for his future and greatest role, our redemption. And after the battle was won and the fall was witnessed, it was time for the next phase of his sovereign work to begin. So, the military conflict is over. Michael and the loyal angels have successfully quelled the uprising, and a tense silence falls over the heavenly courts. Now, the focus shifts. All eyes turn to the throne, and in a moment of profound, majestic authority, Jesus, the Creator, rises. But make no mistake, he isn't rising to join a fight that has already been won. He rises in a different capacity altogether, not as a warrior, but as the supreme judge of the universe. The time for battle has passed. The time for sentencing has arrived. There is no jury, no appeal. With the calm and unshakable finality that can only come from absolute sovereignty, the verdict is declared. Lucifer and his followers are banished, permanently and irrevocably cast out from the presence of God and the glory of heaven. This wasn't an act of anger or revenge. You have to understand this. It was an act of cosmic justice, a painful but necessary spiritual surgery performed to preserve the sanctity and harmony of the entire universe. The cancer of rebellion had to be cut out to prevent it from spreading. This judgment wasn't the end of the story, not by a long shot. In fact, this decisive act of setting things right was the very event needed to officially close one chapter of the cosmic conflict and set the stage for the next, far more mysterious phase of the divine plan, a phase that would move the conflict from heaven to a new battlefield called Earth and reveal a plan for redemption that no one saw coming. All right, my friend, take a deep breath, because this is the moment the entire story pivots and the mind-bending wisdom of God is put on full display. We've been taught to see Lucifer's rebellion as a cosmic tragedy, a flaw in the timeline, a plan gone wrong. But what if I told you it wasn't a mistake at all? In the unshakable sovereignty of God, there are no accidents. The rebellion wasn't a surprise that forced the Creator to come up with a backup plan. No, the fall was permitted because it was the necessary prelude to the greatest demonstration of love the universe will ever know. The Bible gives us this astonishing clue in Revelation 13:8, speaking of Jesus as the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Do you see what that means? The plan for redemption through sacrifice existed in the heart of God before the world was even made, which means it existed before Lucifer ever fell. The cross wasn't plan B, it was always and forever plan A. The entire tragic drama of Lucifer's prideful attempt to usurp the throne was allowed to happen to create the perfect dark backdrop. It was the black velvet cloth upon which God would display the most brilliant diamond in his treasury, the humility, grace, and sacrificial love of his own Son. The ugliness of sin was permitted to be seen in its rawest form so that the beauty of grace would shine incomparably brighter. Every moment was a step in a divine plan, leading to a climax that would secure our hope forever. So you see, From the first flicker of pride in Lucifer's heart to the final thunderous declaration of judgment, Jesus was right where he had always been, on the throne, in absolute control. He was the creator who formed the rebel, the sustainer who upheld his existence even during the rebellion, the strategic witness to the crime, the righteous judge who passed the sentence, and most gloriously the Redeemer who had already planned our rescue. The cosmic battle for the throne was the setup for the most personal invitation ever offered, the invitation to find our redemption at the foot of his cross. The question that began in eternity now lands squarely in your heart. If Jesus holds such unshakable sovereignty over the cosmos, what place does he hold in the throne room of your life? Now that you know Jesus was in complete sovereign control even during the greatest rebellion in history, here is the question I leave with you. How does this truth change the way you view the biggest battle you're facing in your own life right now? Let me know in the comments below. I truly want to hear your story. If this video strengthened your faith, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And don't leave just yet. Click on the video that's appearing on your screen now. God has another powerful word waiting there for you.